Hello from 2020. Thank you to Rock Valley College for inviting 13 WREX to take part in this time capsule ceremony. I'm James Stratton.
And I'm Kristen Crowley. We hope to sum up what's been an incredible, emotional, hard, and inspiring year.
As you may have noticed, Kristen and I, well, we're not sitting next to each other at the news desk. That's because we're social distancing in the midst of a global pandemic.
The COVID-19 pandemic, the first case of this mysterious and lethal illness in the United States, was reported in January 2020. By March, it was widespread. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker announced a stay-at-home order, shuttering all non-essential businesses, closing parks and trails, churches and schools. On this day, 9 months in, no cure or vaccine is available yet. 250,000 Americans have lost their lives. Masks, social distancing, and good hygiene are our hopes to stop the spread of this virus.
We're all in this together. That's the message from many of our friends and neighbors in the pandemic. When it first started, people put hearts on their windows in their homes and businesses as a sign of solidarity. Months later, these hearts remain on windows throughout the state line. In the meantime, we're doing all of our best to stick together when we have to be far apart. For birthdays and welcome homes, graduations, and more, car parades like this one have become more popular. There's something about hearing those honking horns, seeing the bright signs, and some familiar faces that make you feel like everything is going to be okay. And we cannot talk about 2020 without talking about this. Zoom, it's the video service that made meetings, communication, and teamwork possible. Whether it's work happy hours or virtual weddings, we think we've seen it all in 2020. Without these video services, it would be impossible for us to see our friends and families. And we've been thankful for the technology and what it has brought a little bit of normal back to an uncertain time.
And there are heroes here. There are the frontline workers, the doctors and the nurses and the paramedics, the educators and police, the grocery store workers, and other essential employees. And what we've covered through this pandemic is the community will step up to support them any way they can. And there is hope coming, with a vaccine expected to roll out by the end of this year for those frontline workers. Then a second phase will be designated for the at-risk and elderly population. Scientists say the rest of the population could be vaccinated by the summer of 2021. And that has been something that a lot of people are very hopeful for, because living during this pandemic and living in quarantine and isolated has been very difficult and challenging.
Yeah, even sitting, 15 feet from you right now, we've been doing it for the last, 6, 7+ months, other than working from home. It sure has been different. Just take a breath and we'll get through it eventually.
Yeah, I miss being close to friends and family. I miss being close to you guys. And this has become normal and anchoring, and it's so strange still, but hopefully we can get back to normal soon.
Let's talk about what else is happening this year. We want to move on to another story that will mark history in 2020. In June, protests over police brutality and racism swept the country and carried over internationally. Riots, looting, and violence erupted as well, but marches and calls for change, along with unity, were the primary goals of those associated with the Black Lives Matter movement. The protests were prompted by the death of George Floyd, a black man who died in police custody in Minneapolis. The video of a police officer kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes quickly went viral. It sparked outrage and demands for police reform. And Rockford joined in on those nationwide protests. For most of the summer, large crowds associated with Rockford Youth Abolitionists and May 30th Alliance took to the streets throughout the city of Rockford. They demanded an end to racism and police brutality, and specifically called for an investigation into the police shootings of black men in Rockford. In early June, thousands of people marched in Rockford saying racism is real and present in this community, and it needs to end. Months would go by. That large group dwindled to a smaller group of protesters, but one group, Rockford Youth in Action, decided to take their experiences and work with police. They meet with police now. They talk about race and relationships right here with the black community in Rockford. While they say there is a long way to go, they say this is progress.
A tumultuous year compounded by a tumultuous election cycle. Republican President Donald Trump sought re-election for a second term in the White House. Under his reign, the economy saw tremendous job creation and economic stimulus, though Trump is often criticized for his social policies and conduct. But he would lose that election to Democrat and former Vice President Joe Biden, with Biden winning several formerly red states, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Biden's victory could be attributed to Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is leading the state right now. In his first year in office, He led the charge to legalize marijuana in the state, signed a gaming bill that will eventually come to Rockford, and announced the largest capital spending bill in state history. That momentum stalled because of the pandemic. Illinois has some of the strictest mitigation orders to stop the spread of the disease. Pritzker was also one of the first governors to institute a mandatory mask order. Right here in Rockford, Mayor Tom McNamara is leading the city. He was pivotal in that casino bill we just mentioned and saw construction of the downtown Embassy Suites Hotel through its completion. Again, much of his efforts are turned to help fight the COVID-19 pandemic and to support local businesses that might be suffering because of it. Mayor McNamara just announced his re-election campaign for a second term in office. A Rockford promise we're looking forward to seeing play out comes as a scholarship opportunity for public school graduates here. The city, in partnership with RPS 205, announced in 2020 its plans to offer scholarships to Northern Illinois University to eligible students. The city will help foot the bill along with the nonprofit group Rockford Promise. Northern Illinois University will also work with students to help with things like books and room and board. Leaders say this is the key to Rockford's future. We want to take a moment to shine the light on some star athletes making us proud at the professional level.
Been pretty exciting to watch. Rockford native and Auburn High School graduate Fred VanVleet continues his career in the NBA. After winning a 2019 NBA championship with the Toronto Raptors, he helped lead the team to the 2020 playoffs and is due for a big payday in the offseason. Not only is Fred talented on the court, he continues to give back right here to his hometown, hosting different basketball camps, acting as a sports ambassador. Just this week, he hosted a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway for hundreds of families right here in the Forest City. Switching sports to the NFL, Boylan grad Dean Lowry is playing his 5th season right there with the Green Bay Packers. The defensive tackle helped the Packers reach the NFC Championship game last season. He is a starting member for the first-place team right now in the NFC North. Lowry was part of a rare Rockford versus Rockford NFL showdown just last week. That was when he had the risk of trying to tackle this guy, fellow Rockford native James Robinson. Rockford Lutheran and Illinois State grad went undrafted, but signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars as a free agent. He immediately impressed the Jags, earning the starting running back spot out of training camp. Yeah, flex, big fella. He set the IHSA rushing record while in high school. Now he's setting records for an undrafted rookie in the NFL, earning Offensive Rookie of the Month honors in his first season in the league. And we are really looking forward to watching their careers and, of course, rooting for them and for all of Rockford.
And fitting everything that happened in the 2020 year in just a couple of minutes, it was no easy task.
The world is busy, news is breaking, but one thing is certain, WREX will be here when this time capsule is opened again.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you again for having us today. Here's to a bright future for all of us.